What is going on, you guys? I am the Insomniac, and we are back for another video. I'm sorry it has been a while, a little over a week. I have been super busy with school and work and preparation of stuff. No excuses. I haven't had time to make a video. I'm making one now. And I'm here to talk to you guys today about a little thing that I enjoy, called Slenderman. I realized that I haven't talked on my channel about Slenderman other than when I mentioned the rake in my Scary Things video. And that's unfortunate because Slenderman is a quote-unquote passion of mine. I enjoy following Slenderman-related things, including not all of, but many of the YouTube series, blogs, all kinds of fun stuff. And so, to those of you who don't know what Slenderman is, I'm going to explain my point of view of 5 Slenderman things that people debate about a lot, and what I think the explanation is for those things. So yeah, let's get right into it. Slenderman talk. The first thing that I want to talk about is Slenderman's existence in general. Where he lives and how he is. It's also, this next part is going to explain how he quote-unquote sees, and also how he moves. So, my belief is that Slenderman exists on a 4th dimension. This gives him a few distinct abilities which give him like an advantage in what he wants to do. It gives him the ability of infinite limb, which you oftentimes see in the Slenderman mythos. You see him having extendable arms, extendable legs, pretty much out to whatever proportions. You see him have tendrils just exploding out of his back or whatever, stuff like that. Being in the 4th dimension gives him that. It also gives him the ability to have to exist at every point in time at the same time. This easily explains why Slenderman himself cannot be harmed. It explains why, if you haven't seen the YouTube series in Tribe 12, the main character Noah shoots him 5 times with a gun. And of course it doesn't affect him. When he goes back later, he finds only 2 bullet holes in the wall. It explains how he has the ability to get shot and then be totally fine. You get shot in this moment, all he has to do is really move back small increments in time, seamlessly, mind you, and then he's totally fine, but can still exist in that same moment and come at you. So it really creates a strange parallel and gives him the ability to more or less be invincible. The other thing that gives him, which is very, very important, is infinite brain capacity. In the 3rd dimension, we are quote-unquote limited by our brain's capacity where it is. In a 4th dimension, he would have the ability to literally have an infinite storage device of brain capacity. This goes along perfectly with how I think that he moves and sees. He obviously doesn't have any eyes. How I believe he sees is more or less tapping into your brain functions. He has the ability to listen in on your brain communicating with yourself and with others. So he pretty much has the ability to follow you and know where you're going. If you see Slenderman, you're thinking, oh shit, I gotta run this way. You're sending brain signals constantly to your legs, like move this direction, go here, do this. And you're thinking that as you're moving, he can hear that. He can sense that through his mind and be where you were going to be in 2 seconds because you're thinking it, or be right behind you every step of the way, never losing you. It also gives him the ability to be able to tap into your brain function from any distance away, which is scary because he could be thousands of miles away and instantly, boom, he's right there, right in front of your face. So that's what the 4th dimension does for him. It gives him distinct advantages in the sense of, you know, killing you. The second thing I want to talk about is technological distortion and disruption. If you do not know, Slenderman does distort audio and visual devices. Creates audio distortions, visible visual distortions in cameras and video cameras and things like this. I believe this is because of some sort of chemical that's contained in his blood, whatever, if you want to call it blood, in his inner workings. I believe it's some sort of chemical similar to, you know, technological distortion is the side effects due to some chemical that's running through his veins. I don't believe it's something that he does with his mind. I don't believe it's something that he does consciously. I don't think he's worried about the cameras because of the fourth dimension aspect of being able to exist in any moment. I believe that he pretty much doesn't really care, and it just happens to be a, I don't know if you even know if you can call it an advantage in the sense of it making technology not really work very well. I think that it really creates, you know, something along the lines of a side effect of just being Slenderman. That's just happens to, that chemical happens to do that to technology. Something contained within his blood happens to do that. And so that's the reason why whenever he gets close, it happens. It's pretty simple. It can also explain, when dealing with slender sickness, I was thinking about that. It could also explain that. If you come in contact with Slenderman, direct contact, I'm talking physical touching contact, I feel like every person who's experienced slender sickness on, you know, YouTube series and stuff has come in some sort of direct contact with him, which means that maybe that chemical was transferred, so they have slight amount of it in their bodies. And that's why when you see those people getting angry sometimes, you see slight audio distortions or maybe visual distortions. And they're not as strong because it's only a slight chemical. It's not running through their entire body. It's not their whole vein system. It's not in their blood comprised of. So that is my theory for that. The third thing I want to talk about is consumption. Consumption is something that not a lot of people talk about because I feel like it doesn't happen a lot in the YouTube series. When Slenderman was first created, it talked a lot about consumption and killing and disemboweling children and humans in general and stealing children. I think he works along the lines of corrosion. If I was going to compare it to anything, it would be a spider. Liquefying insides and then consuming them. And how I believe that he does this is through his tendrils. I believe that his tendrils have the ability, have some sort of chemical, some fluid. Maybe it's just his blood, you know, what he has inside of him, that he can, you know, inject or put into a human being that more or less liquefies them. And I believe that he does this with muscle tissues and stuff like that, and the reason that he goes after children is because they are smaller, so it won't take as long, more or less. So he pretty much liquefies them and slurps them, and consumes them, slurps them up through his, you know, his tendrils like a straw. This explains the reason of not having a mouth. He doesn't need a mouth because he's not eating. He's not eating for that protein, that he's not eating for the meat. He's eating for the nutrition of the human being itself. So that can easily explain why he does not have a mouth. He has evolved not to need a mouth. He doesn't use it enough, so there you go. The fourth thing I want to talk about is appearance. Something else that isn't really covered a lot is Slenderman's in a suit, red tie. Why? If you guys don't know what Der Ritter is a German, it's a mythology kind of thing, and it's a Slenderman-esque creature. Der Grobsman, if you want to get very technical with it. You should research all that too as well. It gets really, really good. But obviously, the 16, I believe it's, so it would have been the 1600s was when this was going on. Obviously not Slenderman in a suit. My theory for this is kind of along the lines of evolutionary hiding. As time progressed, Slenderman gain the ability or realize that it was important for himself to be able to blend in to a certain extent. And the best way to do that is direct outer appearance. So he adapts whatever time period he's in. He pretty much adapts to whatever style that is. He's in the present. A man in a suit is not something that is unseen. It's quite common to see a man in a suit. So he adapted the suit because it fits in the time period that he's in. Very simple. That's why back in the, in the 1600s when that was happening, you saw him, he kind of wore armor. He looked like knight-ish. Fitting for that time period. The fifth thing I want to talk about is something that I've seen discussed only a handful of times, and that's his skin. He has assumed skin, some sort of material that keeps the inner workings of the Slenderman inside of him. It's white, it's very bright. And I, personally, believe that his skin is... The best way I can describe it is, it's like just your skin, completely bald, completely hairless, poreless, very, very smooth because there are no pores or any imperfections at all. But it feels greasy. And I'm not talking about like you would put your hand on his arm and you would come off and it would be greasy on your hand. I'm just talking about the feeling of greasiness, that weird smoothness that it has. I feel like that's how it would feel, but it wouldn't come off on your hands. That's just how it feels in general. This explains the perfection. The lack of pores and the slight shine. It explains how there's no wrinkle to his face or his hands. There's no wrinkle to any of it. And that perfectly explains why it would be like that. A poreless, very smooth, very creepy feel. Nobody likes the feeling of grease, like, ugh. And then to know that someone feels like that and it doesn't come off on your hands. It's just a very ooey gooey creepy kind of thing. It's not like he's squishy, It's just that's the conclusion that I've come up to through observations. So those are the 5 main things I wanted to talk about. There are obviously so many more things I could discuss on this, and I'll probably end up doing something else with it in the future. But as always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you did not, leave a dislike. If you get scared when Slenderman's name is mentioned, just, it's fine. You can dislike it, I understand. Share this video around if you would like. I always enjoy getting my theories out there about Slenderman and seeing what people believe. It's very interesting and very fun for me to hear from the fandoms and to hear from the blogs and the videos and all the people that enjoy Slenderman as much as I do. And as always, ask me questions, guys. If you have any questions be it about Slenderman, be it about other stuff that I can make a video on, please, please, please don't be shy. Please ask me, because I love making videos for you guys. And I promise I will try to get on making videos more often. It's just been really stressful lately, so I'll get on it. No excuses, guys. And I will talk to you later. Have a good one. It's not gonna stay. No. Bam. What? Try number 2?